Ever since the addition of the survival mode test in 2009, Minecraft became a beautiful blend of the greatest sandbox in all of gaming and a deceptively deep RPG. The world is endless, and unlike any other game I've played, you have utter and complete control of every pixel in your world. Everything you see is made of blocks you can either break or displace. Not only that, but the blocks you break are collectible and can be replaced somewhere else or crafted into new blocks or items altogether. Using these new items and blocks, you can acquire new blocks to make new items and blocks, and the cycle continues. The level of interactivity in this game, where there are no limits except build height and bedrock, makes for a truly wonderful and vast sandbox. On the RPG side of things, there is an underlying story in the game you can decipher as you progress through multiple dimensions en route to defeating multiple bosses. On the trip, you have to learn to master a simple but layered combat system, customizable armor with enchantments, and lucrative loot found in structures that enhance your abilities or just look cool. There is a complex system of trading with villagers to help progress you as a character and provide a reliable means of resources. There's also a bartering system with an often a hostile group of mobs in the piglins. These features may seem obvious, but it's important to highlight the two very distinct parts of this game. For most of the game's existence, they have blended together beautifully, not causing many problems with the core gameplay and pleasing both the fans of a survival sandbox experience and those who like a soft RPG element in a survival game where they can do anything. While there is no set way to play, when dividing up how Minecraft is enjoyed, it is easiest to distinguish between those who enjoy the sandbox aspect of the game and those who enjoy the RPG and survival elements of the game best. For example, a redstoner would fall in the sandbox camp, where a PvP player would likely fall in a camp with those who enjoy RPG elements more. Before we go any further, let me just clear the air on a couple of things. I am not saying one playstyle or a system of enjoyment is better than the other. I am also not saying that these RPG elements are separate from Minecraft's extensive sandbox. In fact, a good argument could be made that the RPG elements are a core part of Minecraft's sandbox experience. What I am saying is this. As Minecraft keeps receiving updates, it becomes increasingly easier to see what features are designed for the players who prefer the RPG experience and those who prefer the sandbox. This rift was not once so obvious, but now it is, and it's only getting worse. Even more concerning, the two camps of fans are growing unsatisfied with the new features getting added. Let's look at a few recent updates to show you what I mean. First, we'll look at an update that does a good job implementing features that both types of players will enjoy, the Tricky Trials update. Minecraft's Tricky Trials update added a new challenge that players who enjoyed the more RPG elements could dive into and collect some awesome loot in the trial chambers. These trial chambers were not only a varied structure with multiple types of rooms and architecture patterns, they also added varied levels of challenges. Trial spawners spawn mobs in limited amounts and in waves. After all mobs are defeated, loot comes from the trial spawners, and the spawners enter a cooldown time. Sometimes these trial spawners will drop you a key, and you can use it at trial vaults to collect even better loot. However, these trial vaults are often behind rooms filled with multiple spawners, traps, and a new mob exclusive to the trial chambers, the Breeze. The Breeze are an overworld version of the Blaze, and they shoot out wind charges that throw you around with insane knockback. Another new mob was added to the trial chambers in the Bogged. These are another variant of skeletons, but their arrows can poison you. Already, this is a dream update for Minecraft's RPG lovers. However, one small addition makes these trial chambers even better, and that is the addition of the ominous bottles. These come in multiple levels, and depending on the level of ominous bottles you drink, you will receive a harder challenge. This comes in the form of new enemies, but there's also effects in the air from ominous trial spawners that can affect the player and the mobs spawning in a multitude of ways, making every encounter varied and incredibly more difficult. After completing a trial spawner, after turning it temporarily to an ominous trial spawner, one will get better loot and can receive an ominous trial key. Special ominous trial vaults are found across trial chambers, and even better loot can be gathered there, not the least of which is a heavy core, which, when combined with a breeze rod gotten from a defeated breeze, can make a new weapon in the mace. The mace is a rare weapon that can be paired with wind charges to be a deadly force, and although gimmicky, is a cool way to craft a powerful weapon and encourages exploration, combat, and grinding difficult challenges for loot. In what was a fantastic update for the RPG enjoyers, there were also some notable additions for those who enjoy the sandbox experience. Copper blocks got a litany of new uses, further cementing their place as a premier building block and crushing the hopes of copper tool bros. The addition of these copper blocks, including doors and a light source, improved the sandbox experience and increased the amount of blocks a builder has at their disposal. The next update we're going to be looking at is the Spring to Life drop, Minecraft's most recent game drop. This is an update that fundamentally changed Minecraft's immersion and ambiance. It added variants to cows, chickens, and pigs based on the weather of their biome. Wolves were given multiple personality traits to randomly select from. Fireflies were finally added in terms of the firefly bush. Ambience was improved by new ambient sounds as well as falling leaves from trees and leaf litter on the ground below. New types of grass, flowers, and bushes were added to make the world feel more alive. Spawn eggs got a major overhaul, and many more minute details helped propel this game to a new level of immersion and, in accordance to its namesake, made Minecraft feel more lively. However, without any features that explicitly benefit the players who are seeking the RPG experience, this one falls solely to the sandbox players. Frankly, all of the game drops since Minecraft ships from major updates have been heavily focused on sandbox players. From the first game drop in December of 2023 to the upcoming summer drop, the only features that could be close to something a player more focused on the RPG side would enjoy would be the creaking and the happy gas. However, the creaking nor the pale garden have any use to the player outside of a new wood type and resin, so they don't even fully count. The happy gas can be seen as an important means for transportation, especially in the end before you get elytra, so it can be seen as somewhat of a feature with the RPG players in mind. Unfortunately, for those who enjoy the RPG side of things in Minecraft, there hasn't been any new exclusive loot to gather, any new mobs to fight, or any new place to explore that gives genuine reward outside of fossils with dried ghasts, and that feature is not even out at the time of releasing this video. Don't get me wrong, the game drops have been appreciated, and the happy gas is something I can see having great use in the world. But when considering the wants of players who enjoy a combat and exploration focused experience in Minecraft, there has not been something with enough of a draw to pull them in. With Minecraft Summer 2025 drop coming out soon, it leaves Mojang at a crossroads. Their next drops or updates are likely in development, but they still have some decisions to make. Will they continue along their current trajectory, adding mobs and features with no real value outside of aesthetics and immersion? Will they keep creating new biomes and block types, but no new points of interest or types of loot? Will they lean fully into the sandbox experience, or will we see a course correction and have multiple updates that satisfy the likes of those who enjoy the RPG side of Minecraft? Like it's always been for Minecraft, the answer lies in the middle. In order to know what the middle is, however, we need to define it. Let's start with the easy part first, which is defining what the extreme side of the sandbox would be. If Minecraft were to fully lean into its sandbox aspect, the game would resemble creative mode even when played in survival. All updates would be focused on immersion, ambiance, and expanding the number of blocks one can build with. This game would be a building simulator in a blocky world, and any elements of survival or struggle would be eliminated to make room for more ways to lose yourself in the most enthralling environment in all of gaming. Now, let's move on to what the extreme side of the RPG elements of Minecraft would be. I believe this could be shown by the mod pack Roguelike Adventures and Dungeons 2. This mod pack takes Minecraft and turns it into a massive RPG, where one can complete hundreds of quests, encounter dozens of bosses and mini-bosses, explore multiple dimensions, and level up so many stats it takes up a good bit of your screen. Not only are there a ton of stats that you can improve, there are also certain tools that you cannot use until you are leveled up to a certain point, forcing you to stick with tools like stone and improve your skills before improving your gear even to iron. The days of knowing the basic set of mobs are over. You will have to fight hundreds of mobs, and you may not see the same 2 mobs out in one night because of the insane variety. For some, this feels like a dream come true, but for others, this feels like an overwhelming nightmare. For those of you who love the sound of this mod pack, you should check out my overview of the mod pack where I played 50 days in the game. I'm going to be returning to it very soon, so stay posted. Now, we all know Minecraft is not going to pivot directly to one or the other, but in Mojang's own words, Minecraft is going to be receiving updates for another 15 years. Minecraft turned 16 years old this year. The difference between now and 15 years from now for the game will likely put it closer to one of those extremes than you may think. Which of those extremes is it going to be, however? If we are judging solely off the last year and a half, it seems that the sandbox reality is the likely one. However, one update could change everything, and my personal theory is that an end update or an update of a similar caliber will be added soon for RPG players. The Happy Gas was my biggest hint that Mojang is thinking about end exploration, and giving a creature that you can spawn in the end and fly around with multiple friends before unlocking Elytra makes me really think we're on the verge of an end update. However, it will take more than just that to satisfy the RPG style players. According to many Minecraft fans, a combat update is long overdue. Things like XP and enchanting need some serious work, and progression and the speed at which players can progress to the endgame ought to be addressed. These have been concerns for quite some time, and the longer they go without being addressed, the less welcoming the game feels for fans of Minecraft's underappreciated RPG mechanics. For the fans of Minecraft's sandbox, these recent additions to the game through drops have been awesome. However, the conversations about overhauling progression, making the game more difficult, and adding linearity to the game that they play to relax in an environment where they can do anything at any time feels a little too restrictive. Both types of player are warranted to feel the way they do. Sandbox players are entitled to want a world that's more aesthetically pleasing and immersive, just as RPG enjoyers are entitled to want to build a world that is more functional and focused on exploration and progression. The longer time goes on and the more updates Minecraft gets, the harder it will be to toe the line between those two playstyles. At some point, RPG-focused players are going to feel like the game is too cluttered with disjointed features, useless mobs, and too many blocks that clog up inventory space that seems to get smaller with every update. As for sandbox enjoyers, updates the RPG crowd wants would lead them to feel like there are too many barriers to enjoy the mechanics of a game they were able to enjoy without trouble before these newer RPG-focused updates. It would be impossible to make Minecraft a game to fully satisfy both players. Or would it? It is in Mojang's best interest to not drive away either group of players because, unsurprisingly, keeping around a core group of players is beneficial to your company and your game community. However, the status quo is unsustainable. Mojang's continual tightrope act of trying to balance these two is turning these two parts of the game that were once blended together beautifully to now on a collision course toward one another. The best way to keep both groups of players around, in my opinion, is to create a new game mode. Take it a la White Light's suggestion in his videos about Minecraft, where the current survival mode stays as is for sandbox players, but a new mode is added with more difficulty, more clear progression, and more consequence to one's actions. Frankly, I don't know what all would be in this mode right now. It wouldn't and shouldn't be exactly like roguelike Adventures in Dungeons 2, but it should have some major changes from what we know as vanilla Minecraft. Maybe I'll make a video on what Minecraft's newest game mode could be soon. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should make a video on it. As we wrap things up, I want to state something that I do not state enough apparently. I absolutely love Minecraft, and I think Mojang have been good stewards of the IP. I enjoy Minecraft as it exists now, and I have played thousands of hours of this game over the last 13 years. What concerns me is that as the game gets modernized, features feel disjointed and unconnected, and there's a rift within the game features and a rift within the community that can get pretty visceral online. And I believe the best way of addressing this is head on. Mojang needs to do something about the game, and preferably soon. The longer Minecraft tries to please both groups of players, the less satisfied everyone becomes. The only question left is this: what path will Mojang take? Thank you so much for watching. To support the channel, please like and subscribe. In the top left hand corner, I have a playlist of all my Minecraft video essays, so if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the game, go check it out. I really appreciate all the support on the channel, and I cannot wait to show you what's in store. Stay tuned for future uploads, but that just about does it for me today. Until next time, y'all take care.